Two of India's finest, made in India. The classic 350 Royal Enfield, and not a Jeep, not a Wrangler, the Mahindra Thar. Ongoing court cases and legal arguments between the US, Jeep Wrangler, saying, what on earth are you doing? You are not allowed to sell this vehicle. And in India, Mahindra say, you know what? This is India, and we're just going to sell what we like. There have been many attempts to sell this car in the likes of the Australian market, and every single time Jeep stop Mahindra and say, absolutely no way. The fact you sell it in India is bad enough. You're certainly not going to be selling it anywhere else. These cars, if you want a brand new one, prices start. I had to do a double take here. They start at about £10,500 for a brand new one of these. I mean, can you imagine somewhere in Europe finding this brand new in a forecourt, in a showroom, 10.5 grand? If you want one of these to rent, the new model is about £40 a day. This is the old model, and you can tell it looks exactly the same as the old Jeep Wrangler. This is just £24 a day. Again, just like the food in India, it's such a good price, it's impossible to ignore. It got dropped off about an hour ago, and I had to move the motorbike. And of course the bike wouldn't start. So I was desperately trying to start the classic 350 to put it at the back of the parking space. And I had the Mahindra Thar here, engine still on, handbrake on. And as I was trying to start the classic 350, the nightmare scenario unfolded in front of me. The Mahindra, clearly the handbrake isn't that good, started rolling down the hill this way, and I went completely white, ran as fast as I could towards it, threw myself in it, and had to put my foot on the foot brake. So you can't guarantee, just because you pick up a vehicle from an authorized outlet here in India, that it's going to be spick and span, spotless, and have a fresh going over with a mechanic. You have to assume there are going to be things wrong with it, and that is part of the charm. We've got this vehicle for 3 days. The plan is we're going down south, southern Goa. This is where people tell us the stunning beaches are. It's meant to be infinitely less developed, and the beaches are meant to be the best in the state of Goa. So we've got a 2-day road trip. What we're going to do is take you with us on day one. So driving down here, picking up a coffee, and then hitting the road on a proper Goan road trip. Finally got away. Took a while from the built-up areas. There was about a 30-minute stretch of dual carriageway, but apart from that, it's just single-lane winding roads. So pulled over for some water. I want to do a front to back of this car to see what you get for £24 a day. Not much, apart from a huge amount of style. I mean, styling's everything with something like this. Relatively speaking, it's fairly terrible, but the feeling of riding or driving one of these cars, every second you drive it is an event. This is, I think, base model. It's a diesel, manual. This will probably upset a few Land Rover Defender owners, but honestly, the engine on this diesel is sweeter than the Defender engine. It's better than the 2008 Defender engine. I have no idea how this is, age-wise, but it's perfectly smooth. It's also quite refined. The suspension is appalling, though. The worst suspension I've ever experienced. It makes motorways feel like you're doing some proper overlanding. Genuine world-crossing expeditions. It's so atrocious. But everything else, extremely nice. Interior, very basic, but then so is the original Wrangler interior. Extremely basic. You can see holes everywhere where it's just rusted clean through, both on this side. In fact, have a look at that. I can just... That is like a tin can. And have a listen to the door. Just the worst quality metal. This is the great bit though. Let's say you're a family man or woman and you have 4 children. This is still the car for you. This is a 6-seater. Look at that! I mean, you won't be able to have any luggage in it, but how fun is that? Again, I personally think that's a nicer setup than both the Defender and the Wrangler. Right, let's carry on. I'm entrusting Monika with this. Monika has found this apartment and booked it. I've never seen it in my life, but I think it's within a short drive of potentially one of the best beaches in Goa.
I hope so. Yeah, we'll see.
Monika, my hopes are, they are sky high. Welcome. This, incredibly, is £35 a night.
I think usually it's £55 a night.
But because you booked last minute,
Yeah,
they
last
dropped the
minute.
price. Complete truth, we wanted to book a stay for the entire length of our time in Goa, in the south of Goa, because people told us this is the real beauty spot, infinitely less busy than the north of Goa. But a week or two before we came, we started looking on Airbnb and booking.com, etc., at properties, and the choice was so microscopically tiny. We just accepted, look, we can't find anywhere to stay in the south of Goa, so the choice is way better in the north, and we decided to pick somewhere in the north. But because we're only staying here for 3 days, there's more selection as opposed to looking at somewhere for 2 weeks. So we can find this place. Nice little seating area here. I called this, when I walked in, a James Bond style villa apartment. Monika says I was over enthusiastic, but it's so nicely done.
Yeah, it's very cute.
It's got 3 balconies, 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and as you can see, we're right up in the tree line here. Palm trees, coconuts, unspoilt view out there, and you can really see over here how undeveloped it is. It's completely different to the north of Goa. This is the only built-up apartment block that we've seen in the past maybe 10 to 15 minutes coming into this southern Goa. I mean, I say hotspot, but there isn't much going on here at all. You can see the little area where there's the security guard based. Monika picked the key up from him. The Jeep's parked downstairs. It's beautifully manicured, is that the right name? It's beautifully kept outside. Everything is just really nice. Pace of life here, just insanely slow, I think. We'll go through to the master bedroom first. Bear in mind that's £35 a night here, including Airbnb fees. Phenomenal. Lovely big bedroom, bathroom over here to Monika's right. Huge shower area. Space, air conditioning.
Another balcony.
Incredible. Another balcony. Again with another ensuite, same size ensuite. No balcony in this one, but dual aspect again. It's a really, bathroom there, really luxurious feeling accommodation. I didn't expect this much actually here because I'd spent about 2 days looking at accommodation in the south of Goa. I found nothing at all. This gives a really good idea the kind of scenery that we've seen so far in the south of Goa. Just these Portuguese-style villas that are commonplace throughout the entirety of Goa, dotted around every so often. And look at the colours there, lime green, deep, deep, vivid blue over there, and then this light pastel green here. But these seem to be about the biggest buildings that we've seen. So we've unpacked, and we're going to now, we'll jump back in the Mahindra, have a little drive, see if we can find what is thought to be the best beach in the whole of Goa. I mean, this is another stroke of luck. We happen to be just 7 minutes away from supposedly the best beach. Turn that down. The best beaches in Goa, Palolem Beach. So we're heading there now. And this is where the little Thar, Mahindra Thar, comes into its own. There's no vehicle I'd rather be in than this. I've learnt something over the past few years. The quality of the vehicle, how dynamically good it is, has very little impact into my enjoyment of the vehicle. This is the perfect example. It's terrible, really, really terrible. But it's more enjoyable than any other car I can remember driving. There's just something about it. There's so much charm. It's an event and it's an experience. Every metre that I'm driving, there's a smile on my face. Isn't that the most important thing for any kind of vehicle? Smiles per mile. This is so different as well. We're 4 minutes away now. And it's just taken, oh, I can't get through there. It's just taken another step backwards with regards to how built up it is. This is a proper dream level beach. You can just see behind me the silhouette of the palm trees and the island in the distance. It's stunning. The interesting thing is, this is less developed than the north of Goa, but it's much, much more touristy. I've seen way more European tourists here in the past 20 minutes than I have in the past week in the north of Goa. So clearly, this is where all the European tourists come. You've got the wooden beach huts lining the entirety of the edge of the beach. White sand, beautiful warm water, and boats lined up all the way along, a mixture of excursion boats and fishing boats, with cows sleeping in between all of the boats. Oh, it's stunning. This gives a really, really nice idea of the picture postcard type beaches that I've seen for Goa. This is it. I promise this will be the last time I mention how good the Indian food is, otherwise I'm going to sound like a broken record. But those two dishes that Monika and I had on the silver platters, all of the different little dishes within it, it was for each one £2.55. So for Monika's meal, £2.55, and for mine, that is about £5 for two massive meals. Each one of those would be £18 in the UK for that level of quality. It's just phenomenal. It's on another scale, the quality and the value, to anything I've ever experienced. And playing a bit of pool just with this view here of the Mahindra, I started to get some ludicrous levels of pride just playing away and looking at my vehicle for the next 2 to 3 days. It's a very, very special feeling. I really, really like this vehicle. Monika and I were lucky enough to be invited over yesterday, funnily enough, to a couple who live opposite us in northern Goa. We can literally see each other from the balconies. They invited us over and we had some local Indian, I think it's a cocktail. I've completely forgotten the name, but it was, at least for my palate that's not used to it, completely lethal. I think I must have had about 6 paracetamols to get over my headache, but it was delicious. Chili in the middle, and it was made from the fruit of a cashew. It was absolutely delicious, but I was paying the price for it in the morning. So I had to have paracetamols before we headed off here. Luckily, I'm 100% fine now, and I've got to experience an Indian cocktail. So that was a very, very nice thing. I wanted to ask them about why are all of these villas, beautiful Portuguese villas in Goa, why are so many of them abandoned? How does it work? And they said it's just as simple as a lot of them are still owned by the Portuguese families. They've long since left Goa, and it's just really difficult to track down these families in Portugal and ask them, look, can we sell these villas now? It's as simple as that. So it's difficult tracking down the families in Portugal who still own them, may not have an interest in moving back to Goa, but they're still hanging on to them. And that's the story of them. And we'll wrap it up now. We're going to go back, chill out, a couple of beers, and soak in a day and a half left here in southern Goa. So thank you so much everyone for watching. Have a brilliant week, and we'll see you all in the next one.